Ma'am.
Hello.
Dr. Mary Vinita, ma'am. Good morning,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good
Good
morning, ma'am.
morning.
I welcome you,
So,
ma'am.
oh, thank you so much, ma'am. So you can hear me, no, ma'am, clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Principal, ma'am. Dr. Snehalatha, ma'am. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you are in Tamil Nadu Teachers University?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm Dr. Shakti Rajamal, one of the organizing secretary.
Fine.
Since organizing NATA programs, madam, the past 4 months. So
Today is
4 months because the COVID time they are making
Yes,
use.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Today is 54th day, ma'am.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So very active participation. Tyagu sir, we can also learn from them.
Sir, Dr. Tyagu sir, first program is Dr. Tyagu sir program, ma'am.
I think for all program he is the resource person.
Yes, ma'am. First
One
program,
common resource person.
my first program
okay,
is
we will talk
Tyagu
later
sir
these
and-
things. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Ah,
Good morning, sir.
oh, good morning, sir. So all are attending from home.
Yeah. Madam, shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, good morning to all. On behalf of Center for Capacity Building Program for School Teachers and Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and Department of Education, NMKRV College, Bangalore, jointly organize a one-week capacity building training program on digital pedagogy. On behalf of these two institutions, I welcome you all for the second day session. I would like to invite Dr. T. Sivasakti Rajamal to give a few words.
Very good morning to you all. It's a great honor and an immense pleasure for me to welcome you all for this 1 week online capacity building training program on digital pedagogy. The second day is open education. Topic is open educational resources. Today's resource person, Dr. Mary Vinita Damas. I welcome you, ma'am, Assistant Professor,
Thank you, ma'am.
School of Education, Central University for Kerala. Welcome you all on behalf of organizing team of Center for Capacity Building Programs for School Teachers, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Chennai, and Department of Education, NMKRV College for Women, Bangalore. Once again, I welcome you all.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am. Now
Thank
I'd
you,
like
sir.
to
Sir,
Hello.
yes, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Susilambal, ma'am, to deliver the welcome address. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, a very good and warm morning to everyone assembled here. I wish you all a very happy Ganesha Chaturthi. May the blessings of Lord Ganesha bestow on all of us. I welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Panchanathan, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, respected President Dr. M.K. Panduranga Shetty, Rashtriya Sikshana Samiti, Professor V. Balakrishnan, Registrar, Tamil Nadu Central University, and ABS Murthy, Secretary, RSST, Professor Govindan, Dean, Faculty of TNTU, Dr. Snehilata Nadigar, Principal, NMKRV College for Women, Dr. Shiv Shakti Ma'am, Coordinator, Center for Capacity Building Program for Teacher and Organizing Secretary of this program, Dr. Premlata, Joint Organizing Secretary, and all the participants. I wholeheartedly welcome you all for today's session. I express my deep gratitude to Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University for creating this amazing platform to the teachers and teacher educators. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, Dr. Mary Vinita Thomas, who is going to talk about open educational resource. Dr. Mary Vinita Thomas, Assistant Professor in Department of Education at the Central University of Kerala. Her educational background includes Master Degree in Physics and MEd from the Regional Institute of Education, NCERT, Mysore, and doctoral degree in Education from MS University, Baroda. She worked as project assistant for the project on open educational resources integration for course development by Wawasan Open University Malaysia with University of Cape Town, South Africa. She has also developed and presented learning modules for EPG Pathshala project under MHRD, National E-Content project on SWAYAM platform, Diploma in Elementary Education program of National Institute of Open Schooling, online refresher course for higher education faculty, and an annual refresher program in teaching by MHRD. She has also acted as resource person for various national level workshops for teachers at school and collegiate level. We see her as capable, confident, and never at a loss for words, and has set an extraordinary example for all of us. With this brief introduction, I wholeheartedly welcome her. I request Dr. Mary to lead the session. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
Yes. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. And before starting, I would like to thank Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and the Department of Education, NMKRV College for Women, for having brought up this platform and giving us the opportunity to come and meet all of you all online and share our views and knowledge on certain digital areas. So thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you very much. So right now, before starting, what I would like to just share a few things. Like we all know, the global pandemic has been occurring ever since few months, and we are all under a lot of stress and strain and all. And it has brought a lot of change in all aspects of our life. In all our realms, it has affected us very well. And but one area which I feel, which the pandemic could not conquer is the area of knowledge sharing, online mode. The pandemic definitely brought the schools and colleges to a standstill. It stopped us from going there, and it has put us in a dilemma. But what happened is transaction of knowledge could not be stopped. This is what I have felt, because more and more transaction is now happening on the online mode than the offline mode. I feel we are conducting so many programs, so many workshops, so many training sessions, and even the classes for students in a very virtual, lively way. It is being conducted. So the pandemic, I think, has failed there. It could not conquer that educational aspect of our life because we have moved on to the digital era. So thanks to technological advancements of our country as well as the globe for giving us that. This is what I feel. Now, so before going into this concept, I was thinking about my childhood days, when we were small. Whenever we used to get something like chocolates or pens or something as a gift and something, my mother and my grandmother and all were like, share those things. Share it with even if there's a housemaid, you give it to her daughter or you give it to your friends who are coming to play with you. This sharing aspect, in the old generation, they used to stress a lot on us. I don't know how many of our parents now are stressing on this aspect or teaching our students to share things, whatever they get. It's because maybe we are very busy in our lives, and we don't have the time for all that to teach our children, to share or tell them about sharing, right? But in our childhood days, I still remember my mother used to tell me, share it. And initially I used to get angry also, because as kids, we want everything, to keep by ourselves. But somehow later on, by sharing, we kind of realized that it's not only about sharing and giving. Along with sharing, when you see the other person smile, it gives us a sort of happiness. It makes us happy. And when we eat or when we write together, that sharing brings a kind of compassion, a concern towards one another. Okay, he's not having that, so I will give him that. I will share with him. So lot of emotions and values are connected with this basic concept of sharing. It's not that we are only giving something, but along with that, we are sharing happiness, we are sharing empathy, we are sharing our kindness, our concern, the love, everything together, interwoven kind of a feeling. That is what I have got when I used to do that in the childhood. And even now I feel this concept of sharing. So this is somehow I feel has reduced in the present generation. It's nobody's fault, because we are all busy in our lives and we don't have the time to tell that to our students. Maybe some of the parents are doing it, but otherwise I'm saying we don't have the time. So that concept is gradually kind of declining, and where we feel that a lot of children are bound to themselves. They're only worried about themselves, their happiness, and all those sort of a kind of little bit of selfish thinking has come into, is what I have come across. So this concept of sharing, why I'm saying this is, now you might be thinking the topic was on OER, but has the topic changed to some philosophy? No, the topic has not changed, and it's not going to be a philosophy class either. For me, always when I start teaching something or sharing something with others, I always see that other than the pure educational aspect, what is it that I can also connect so that it can bring a change in us in the behavior as a person, which can make me a better human being? How can I connect the concept that I'm teaching to the affective domain of the people, of the students or the learners? So that is always something which I think, and in my classes also I do that. But whatever concept I try to bring in a little bit of affective domain characteristics so that we reflect on it, and as a human being we start thinking about it, and then we go to the educational aspect, because ultimately education is about what we say, modification of behavior. It is about molding us into better human beings, bringing a change in our character, the way we think, the overall development. So that's why I said about sharing. And why I said about sharing is the concept or the topic that we are going to discuss today, that is open educational resources, is very much based on sharing. Unless you have a sharing mind, unless you have an open mind to share what you have with others, it's going to be difficult to accept this concept of OER. So that's why I put on, this small introduction regarding sharing, because we never think about sharing of knowledge. We are always thinking, whenever we hear sharing, it's about material aspects, about whatever we have at hand, money or whatever. but we never think in the knowledge, intellectual domain level. What can be shared there? That's what we think. So OER is a concept which is going to teach you how sharing can be done at the intellectual domain level also. Okay, so without wasting much of your time now, don't worry, I'm moving on to the topic of open educational resources. And yes, the time limit is 11 to 12:30, so I'll keep up to that time limit. We won't cross that. And very short, we'll just go on. So as you can see, the presentation, we can go on parallel to that, I'll be explaining it. We know, as I said, we have these materials. So many materials are there online now, and we don't have to depend on books and all. Books, of course, are very important. But apart from that, when we are not able to go to a library, or when we have a lot of restrictions regarding going outside or not, this online mode is definitely helping us a lot, right? You all know that, because nowadays, whenever we get a doubt, when we are teaching something and we get a doubt, what do? Even students or teachers, whenever we get a doubt or we don't get a concept, we're not understanding it, the first thing, you take your mobile and then, yes, you Google it. So Google has become the ultimate Bible. Google is everything to us now. Whatever doubt you have, you Google it, and Google gives you an answer, right? So that is how, now we are accessing information. We get a lot of information, and if you Google it, you can see a number of articles related to that particular concept is coming. But one thing which has put a restriction on this mode is, whenever we are taking materials from online, if you might have noticed, you can see that the issue of copyright is always there, right? If you take an article and if you scroll down, you see a C and a round L, on that copyright. You know that mark better than me. You all know that the copyright thing that stops you from accessing or taking materials. It puts a limit. It is kind of a barrier. When you see that, you're scared. Okay, there is a limit to which I can take the material from that. There is a limit to everything I do now because the copyright is there. So what do I do? So though the materials are available online, though there are n number of materials available online, the copyright issue is prohibiting us from going further. So what can we do, or what can we do to control all this or bring in a change? So a group of people, they sat and they were discussing on what can be done to bring such a change to this kind of atmosphere, so that learners or users, they can use more and more of online materials and benefit from that. So it was in this aspect that the phrase open educational resources was coined. So it was coined first in 2002. So you can imagine, it is long back in 2002, the concept of OER, open educational resources, was coined. And if you define OER, you can say they are digitized materials. They are offered freely and openly. And it can be used and reused for teaching, learning, and research. It includes learning objects such as lecture material, references and readings, simulations, experiments and demonstrations, as well as syllabuses, curricula, and teachers' guides. So this is what the definition or what OER stands for in a formal way, if you look at it, okay? They are digitized, they are offered freely, you can use it, you can reuse it, and it includes anything, lecture, reference, readings, demonstration, syllabi, curriculum, whatever it is. So all this is coming under OER. Now, when you talk about OER, we say there are 5 R's to an OER, okay? 5 R, open educational resources, there are 5 R's. So what are these 5 R's? Reuse, revise, remix, redistribute, and retain. So I don't have to go much in detail because we are all at the, understanding these terms, because we know what is meant by reuse. Reuse, because if you get a content, I should be able to take it and use it for my purpose, okay? Which the copyright is not allowing. The copyright is not allowing you that. There is a limit, okay? Only few lines you can take, and that too you have to quote, and it's all those problems are there. So OER is saying that you can reuse the material. If it is an OER, you can reuse it. Okay. The next one, revise. Revise means you can adapt, adjust, modify, improve, or alter the content. So this I feel is something which I found very interesting, because people allow you to use their content. That is fine. But how many of us will allow others to alter my content, whatever I've written, maybe to improve it, modify it, adjust it, adapt it to the person's conditions? How many of us are that open-minded that we will allow our article to be altered or modified by someone else? No, that's why I said that this sharing concept, if you have a sharing mind or an open mind, then only, otherwise it is difficult to accept this concept of OER. So the first one, reuse. The second one is revise. Okay. And the third one is remix. Now, remix is you combine the original or the revised content with other OER. Now, suppose you have taken something from an OER and you're putting it in your material. You can take another OER material and combine both of them. You can mix it as per your needs. So that is called remixing. And then comes redistribute. Redistribute means sharing copies of the original content, revisions or remixes with others. So redistributing, as you can read from here, apart from me taking the content, I can also share it with others. That is usually in copyright, it is not at all allowed. Like, who gave you the permission to take my content and give it to him? No, that's the question. So here, that is allowed. Okay. You can share the original content, whatever you have revised or remixed, whatever you have done, you can redistribute it. And finally, retain. You can keep the material with you and keep access to the materials even after the learning event has occurred. At times, we can see that when you attend some courses and all, the learning materials will be available only to those people or only for that period of time. But for OER, that issue is not there. It gives you access. You can keep it, even after the learning event, and it's a part of your work. Okay. So these are the 5 R's of an OER, and I believe that now you have got a little bit of idea, and maybe many of you are already well versed with OER. Okay, you might be using it. So this is just like a platform where I am sharing my views, and later on you can also have your views put in, and we can learn more from you also, those who are using OER. So now, we saw what an OER is and the 5 R's of an OER. But the thing here is, everybody, don't think that whatever material you get online is an OER. That is where the confusion or the doubt comes. When you log into Google, as I said, gives you many materials, right? So when you log in and take an article, you cannot say that everything is an OER, or people ask them, how do I understand if it is an OER, right? That issue comes up, because if copyright is there, definitely it is not OER. Then other things, how can I make out if it is an OER or not? So let us first see the characteristics of an OER. What makes up an OER? What defines? What are the specific characteristics of an open educational resource? Okay. The first one, openness. So the very term OER is open educational resource. So obviously it has to be open. So on the online platform, what does this open mean? Openness means it is accessible to everyone, anytime, anywhere. It's open to all. If I want to access a material, I can access it without any locking or without any payment. I can access it anytime, anywhere. Like many a times when you download some articles and all, we can see that those articles halfway, they'll say that now it is locked. I have come across that now it is locked. You cannot take it. Only the abstract is available, or only the first 10 lines are available. And then there is a lock to it, or then you have to pay for it, or then otherwise you have to subscribe. Your university has to be a part or a member of it. Only then you will be allowed. So many issues are coming up, right? I have come across that. So OER, if you say that this is an OER, then definitely it has to be open to all. There should be no restrictions. They are freely available to everyone, anytime, anywhere. Okay, so that is the first one. The next characteristic, cost. As I said, it should be free of cost to users. If you have to pay a lump sum amount, a huge amount, then what is the use of saying that it is an open education resource? There is no point in that. So material which is open, which is free of cost, is called an OER, the free of cost. It should be available free to everyone. Third one, it should be reusable. So along with being open, along with being free of cost, earlier we saw the 5 R's, and there I said the reusability aspect. Reusable in the sense, it should not be applicable or available to some people of a globe. It should be reusable for the entire people around the entire globe. Now I'll give an example for this reusability aspect. Sometimes what happens is when we develop a material, certain people, they put a watermark or they put their symbol, embossing my name or my institution's name. If suppose I'm from Central University of Kerala, and suppose I'm developing a material, a learning material, then what I do is I watermark or emboss Central University of Kerala in all the pages of my article. I'm making that, or I put the emblem of my university, CUK emblem, in all the pages, and that cannot be removed. If you emboss it, it cannot be removed. It will be there along with the article. So the next day, someone else from UK or USA is accessing, or from Delhi is taking up this article which I have written, and I say that so he takes it, he wants to use it. What happens if he takes that article, he's using it for some purpose? What happens? What happens is, the emblem which I have embossed, or the Central University of Kerala name which I have put, it will also be displayed along with whatever article I have used, and wherever he is using it, Central University of Kerala, Central University of Kerala, that will be displayed. So people will come to know that, okay, so this is an article which has been taken from Central University of Kerala, or this is an article which has been written by Dr. Vinita. So that is not allowed. Means everywhere you put that symbol, so that should not be there. So that is meant by reusability. 2 parts. It should be useful. I should be able to use it, take it from the place. At the same time, I should not have any content, specific university or institution, because I always cite this example that when you buy something from a jewelry store or a sari store and all, when you buy it in a large content, they give you bags or they give you beautiful cups and all, right? But have you noticed in those bags and those cups and all, the name of the jewelry or name of the shop will be there, like Kalyan Jewelers or Chennai Silks or RNKV Silks. Everything will be written on the cup. So when a visitor comes and you give tea in the cup, they will see, okay, oh, this is from Kalyan Jewelers, right? So it is embossed there. So that should not be there. Okay, so if you're providing it free, means you should also make sure that this kind of reusability is available. So that is called reusability. So 3 things we discussed: openness, cost, reusable. Okay. The next one, relevance. Now, as educational people, I don't think I have to explain what this relevance is. We all know what is meant by relevance. Relevance is nothing but the genuineness of the content. It should be connected to the topics. Whatever topic we are discussing, the material that I get as an OER should be definitely related. It should be relevant to that area. It should provide insightful learning, meaningful learning to the learners. And that's what is meant by relevance. I'm not going much into the details of relevance, because as teachers or as educationists, we all know what is meant by relevance. Okay. So how can you characterize an OER? How can you know if it is an OER? First one, it is open to all. It is cost-free. It is reusable. It is relevant. And yes, the next one, it should be simple and easy to use. Now, simple and easy to use in the sense, the content and the language used should be comprehensible to all types of learners. No, every type of learner should be able to understand what is being written. We should not use, if it is in English, we should not use a very high standard English, the Oxford standard or the Harvard standard, where the ordinary people cannot understand. That should definitely be not there. The communication is very important. When you're transacting knowledge, the language should be simple. Everyone should be able, even the mediocre type of learners, when they read it, they should be able to understand and comprehend what we are writing. So simple English, no grammar, no grammatical errors, but in a very simple manner, so that all types of learners, that's what we mean, simple and easy to use. And easy to use in the sense, use friendly formatting, and which can be downloaded easily, which can be printed. So PDFs and all makes it difficult, right? So that should not be there. Okay. So this is meant by simple and easy to use. And the last one. Now this is the most important criteria. I put it last because we are going to discuss that in detail. This is the most important part of an OER. When you ask, how can I make out if it is an OER? The most easy method is to see the copyright licensing. What licensing has this article got? So copyright licensing is the most important. OER is available as freeware or with varied degrees of freedom, and it is copyrighted under Creative Commons public license. So the kind of license that an OER has is Creative Commons. Usually in a copyright, what we see, there is one C and there is a circle around it. That's the trademark of copyright, right? Everybody knows that. Any article you take, C and around, copyrights. But for OER, it is CC and around. Okay, CC, Creative Commons. And OER will be having a Creative Commons license. So these were the characteristics of an OER. So if you ask that now, how do I understand if it is an OER? You have to check for all these 6 things. If it is open, if it is reusable, if it is cost-free, if you can revise it, and if it has got a simple language relevant, and finally, if it has got a CC license, a Creative Commons license. So now let us see, what is this CC? What is this Creative Commons? Okay, we won't go much into details because we don't go much. You have time. You can, now everybody has a lot of time online, right? So when you get time, you can go to Creative Commons website, okay, and see and study more in detail about Creative Commons. So just briefly, I will say, Creative Commons actually is it is a non-profit organization which is providing copyright licenses and tools that helps institutions, universities, companies, and creators to give copyright permissions for their work in a simple and standardized way. So Creative Commons will help us, or will help OER people to license the material as per their likes. So next time when you log in, if you want to find out if it is an OER, go and find out the symbol, copyright symbol. If it is CC, then it is an OER. Then you needn't be worried. Okay, and Creative Commons is the organization which is providing these CC licenses. So if you go to the website of Creative Commons, you can find out more about it. Okay, and now it is not that we have the CC license and it is okay, easy. It is an OER. No, there is a little bit of some understanding needed further. Creative Commons, it is not one license. There are 6 different types of licenses. So that is what we can see if the next slide, if you go to the next slide, yeah. See, Creative Commons, there are 6 different types of licenses. So don't get confused by seeing this. We will go one by one in detail. Once you understand it, it becomes very, very simple. It is not at all confusing. Now, when people hear it for the first time, you will think that, oh, what is this CCBY, SA, NC, SC, ND? What is all this? At one go, when you see that, you will get confused. Okay, don't worry. It is very simple. It is very simple. We will go one by one. So I hope you've understood so far that how you characterize an OER. Like you look for the 6 different characteristics, and the last one is the copyright symbol. If the copyright symbol is CC and around, see, you can see in the picture here, the CC. If the license is like this, then you can be sure that the material you have accessed is an OER. Now, in that CC itself, we have different types. So we should be knowing what each license is indicating, right? The CC BY, what does that stand for? The CC BY SA, what does it stand for? So each type of license, what does it stand for? What does it indicate? That also we should be knowing. Only then we can use the OER appropriately. Otherwise, we will not be knowing how to use it. Like I say, people become very happy when we say that an OER allows you to reuse, it allows you to revise, to remix. People say, oh, so it's completely free and I can do anything with it. But then there is something called conditions apply. I don't know, like most of you, have you noticed that when you have this Adi sale or Onam festival or whatever, Christmas or Pongal coming up, the big shops, they put up this discount and sale banners. In that they will say 80% off, 50% off, 90% off, sale is going on. So on reading that, we are all very happy. My God, 80% off on a sari. How we'll rush. But have you noticed in the banner, after that 80% off, there will be a small asterisk mark or a small star mark above it. And below, and they will be giving that star mark, they will write conditions applied. Right? So that in that once, so when you reach there, you come to know that this 80% off was not for the sari you thought. They have put up some saris, some second-hand things and or something else, a limited stock. For that only 80% is off. For the sari you want or for the salwar you want, it is 100% you have to pay. This has happened to me many times. In online also, Myntra and all, when you're shopping, they say 60% off, sale. So we will be very happy, and then you will enter. Then I see the small symbol conditions apply. So the same is the case with OER also. There are certain conditions. You have to keep abreast of those conditions. Only if you know those conditions, you can use OER properly. So it is not that it is completely free also. There is a little bit of restrictions, and that restriction goes on one by one. We will see what each license stands for. But this is the license. If you can, it is put up on the screen. You can see one is CC-BY, CC-BY. So the first one, we'll move on to that. Now, CC-BY. So if you see this license on your article, if your article is there, and if you see this license in the article, first thing you can confirm, yes, it is an OER. But what type of an OER it is, what permission it is giving me to do, that is given in this. See, if it is a CC-BY license, what all does it allow? It allows you to distribute. You can distribute it freely among others. You can remix, tweak, as well as build. Tweak is nothing but cut off. Suppose in an article, you feel that a paragraph a person has written is not suitable, you don't want it. You can easily cut it off without his permission, because he has already given you permission, CC-BY. He's allowing you for that. If you feel that some certain paragraphs or in a paragraph, some few lines you feel is not wanted, you can cut it off and continue with the other section and use it. Okay, that is called tweak. So you can remix it, you can tweak, you can even build upon it. If you want to add, okay, you feel somewhere this person has not explained it, I want to add my explanation to it. Yes, you're welcome. The person is saying you're welcome. You come and add your points to my article. I have no problem in that. And then you use it. That's what he's saying. So distribute, remix, tweak, build upon, even commercially and non-commercially. So they are saying that for commercial purposes, you can use my article. For non-commercial purposes also you can use. What is meant by commercial? Like people, commercial? Commercial means money making. If you are developing a book, if you want to use that person's article, he's saying you use it. I'm allowing you. You use my article in your book, you publish, you make money. I have no problem in that. So this is a very, very generous kind of a person who has offering a CC-BY article, right? He's allowing you for everything with his article. Distribute it, remix it, tweak it, build upon, you use it for commercial purpose. So this license, the CC-BY, is the most flexible among all licenses. This is the first type, CC-BY. So tomorrow, if I want to develop an OER and put it on the web, then if I give CC-BY, what am I allowing others to? I am allowing them to take it, remix, tweak, use it for commercial purposes and even for non-commercial purposes. So the most flexible. Now, step by step, the restriction, the degree will a little bit get rigid. Okay, so CC-BY is over. Next one, suppose you find this kind of a license, CC-BY SA. Now this is again, okay, if you find this in an article, that means it is an OER for sure. But what kind of an OER it is, what it is permitting you to do, we will see. CC-BY SA, the SA stands for share alike. So these articles can be shared, they can be copied, remixed, tweaked, build upon, adapted, just like CC-BY. Okay, everything can be done, redistributed. You use it for commercial purpose, you use it for money making, the person has no problem, non-commercial purpose. But last you see, last there is one condition. it should be licensed under the same CC BY SA license. Okay, what does that mean? It should be licensed under the same CC BY SA license. That means, suppose I am taking CC BY SA materials. Okay, I'm taking that and I'm preparing a material. I'm preparing a write-up. Now, when I license my article, I should license it under CC BY SA. No other licensing is allowed. I cannot put a copyright. I cannot put CC BY. I cannot put CC BY NC. I cannot put any other license, but I have to license my article under CC BY SA, share alike. You know why this kind of a license is there? Because what happens is, people, after you develop, you take something from others, and after I develop, I will immediately put a copyright. No, there are many people like that. I can take everything from others, but when my turn comes, I don't want to give, so I will copyright it. That is why they have come up with CC BY SA. If you are using CC BY SA, your article should also be licensed under CC BY SA so that others can use it. Otherwise, legally, they can sue you for that. You will be in legal trouble. Okay. Then the next one, CC BY NC. So NC here stands for non-commercial. If you find an article with this license, CC by NC, obviously it is an OER, you can be sure about it. But what does it indicate? They have put NC, the dollar symbol, and they have put the money symbol and the Indo. So obviously you cannot make money out of that. That is, you cannot use this article for commercial purposes. He is giving it to you. You can use it for your educational purpose, for assignment projects, whatever purpose you want, you can use it. But for money making, for making money out of it, he's not interested in that. He's not allowing you for that. So if you take this kind of an article, see, other things are all the same. Share, you can copy, you can remix, tweak, you can build, you can adapt, modify, you can do anything with the material, but you cannot make money out of it. You cannot use it for commercial. The author will not allow you for that. So that is what. So these articles, whenever you are finding articles with CC BY NC, make sure that you are not using it for commercial purposes, because if you do that, and if you have an article with this, the author can sue you for that. Okay. Next one. CC BY NCSA. See, now step by step, the rigidity of the license is going higher and higher. The most flexible was CC BY. Now, one by one, the conditions are, they're putting more and more conditions. Okay. CC BY NCSA. So here you can share, copy, remix, tweak, you can build upon, adapt, you can modify, you can do anything. But again, NC means non-commercial. You cannot use it for commercial purposes. SA, after you develop your material, you have to license it under CC BY NCSA. The same license has to come under your article also. As I said, after you prepare, you are feeling that, no, I will copyright it, or I will put a CC BY, let everybody use it as they want. No, that is not allowed. If you are using a material which is CC BY NCSA to develop your material, then that material should be licensed under CC BY NCSA itself. No excuse. You have to license it under that. You cannot use any other licensing. Okay. So when you're using this kind of materials in your write-up, be careful. Okay. Next one. CC BY ND. Now, ND means no derivatives or no change. They have put an equal to sign, right? So you can use the material. You can take the material, you can use it, but no change. You cannot adapt, you cannot modify. That is what we see, the usual copywriting thing, right? You're not supposed to modify what the other person has written, right? So the same, so somewhat equivalent to that. But here again, you can use the entire material. In copyrighted materials, there is a limit to which we can take some 3% or 4% or 7%, something like that. You cannot take the entire material and put it in your article. That is for the issue with copyright. But here, CC BY ND, you cannot change or alter or add your points. But if you want, you can take the entire write-up and put it in your work. That is what the author is saying. He's so generous. You use it, but I won't allow you to modify, but you can use it. You can use the entire material in your work. I have no issues with that. Apart from that, that's what they say. equal to sign. You pass it in the same way, in the same manner, equal to, with no change. And the last one, CC, BY, NC, ND. I don't have to explain this. Now you might have understood what NC, ND stands for. NC is non-commercial and ND is you cannot change them. So here, this is the most restrictive of all the licenses. So it is somewhat equivalent to our copyright. It is saying that you can only download it. You can only download it. You cannot use it for commercial. You cannot change them in any way, but you can download the entire material and use it. Non-commercial. The previous one, commercially, you can use. Okay, so this is these are the 6 types of licenses, and this is very important for us to know. That's why I spent more time on licensing, because if you want to know about OER, you have to know about the licensing. There is no other way, because OER is defined by its licenses. Each license has certain characteristics. So when you take an OER, you have to know what this license stands for. Only if you know that, you can use it and you can change accordingly, right? So that's why I spent time for that. Now this is nothing, the screen you can see. I've just put the rigidity, how the rigidity is coming, the flexibility is reducing, and it's starting from CCO, which is a public domain, or there is no licensing. That is CCO, and then it is going CCBY, next flexible, CCBY SA, and see the degree of rigidity, and the red one last, the copyrights. So this is the spectra of rigidity, where it's showing the licenses, how flexible each one is. Just for a brief view, I have put that. It's not much important. Now, we just rush through quality assurance guidelines. So when you're talking about OER, the question here is how, when I am developing an OER, you have to make sure that it is of good quality, right? You cannot simply write something and put something on the net and say that this is an OER, and no, that is not allowed. So people, CEMCA, the Commonwealth Educational Media Center, Asia, they have come up with a framework called TIPS framework, and they have given certain criteria, and they have told that if you are developing OER, the universities or in the institutions, teachers coming together, if you're developing OER, you have to take care of certain things to maintain good quality of OER, so that the others will benefit out of it. So what are those criteria that has to be taken care of if you are developing an OER? Okay, the CEMCA, we will just rush through it. TIPS. So T stands for teaching and learning processes. So they are saying that under teaching and learning process, they are saying that first you should give a study guide to the users. Know what is an OER, how to use. Like I said, this licensing part and all, they won't be knowing. So first you have to, when you are publishing an OER, first you give a guide on OER. What is an OER? What can be done? What is a kind of licensing? All these things you have to provide. Next, when you're developing the material, it should be learner-centered. Then the pedagogy that you're using to teach, that should be authentic and it should be up to date, not a simple lecture method kind of things. Okay, use authentic pedagogy on the latest changes and transformation, and the material should be according to the local needs of the users. At present, what is the need of the learner? According to that, you frame your learning material, the future needs of the learners, how they can connect it to future, and most of the materials should provide for self-learning. After reading my OER, the person who is reading it, he should be able to kind of self-learn. That you all know what is self-learning, right? Learner autonomy, personal independence. I should be able to learn on my own. And the conversation that you provide in the it should be in an active voice, okay, rather than, and then there should be no gender bias and all. It should be very user friendly. The type of language you use, it should be then. If you go to the next one, I put it. The language you use should be simple. It should not be to hurt the sentiments of any community or any religion or caste or creed, whatever material you're providing. Everything should be in a very good manner. That is what they're saying. And it should develop motivation and variety of self-assessment in the material. In the material OER that you're providing, you should provide quiz, multiple choice questions, where the person who is reading it can, go through the quiz and make out, okay, am I learning? Have I understood it? Okay, I'm able to get 5 on 5. That means I've understood it well. If not, I have to go back and read again. So all these things should be given, okay? And connect formative self-assessment and provide a provision for feedback. In the OER material, you can make sure that there is a feedback column. Who and all are reading it, they can provide some feedback so that next time I can improve. Next is information and material content. So tips T we discussed, and I related to information and material content. It's saying that the material should be up to date, that we have already discussed. It should be accurate and all those things, and equity should be reflected. It should be free from sort of discriminations. Social harmony should be promoted. All these are things which as a teacher we should take care of, or as a person who's writing a learning material, we should take care of all these things. You know, your material should be free from all these biasing, and it should not bring any social disharmony. Okay, so all that has to be. And one more thing, it should not contain flowery language or materials that will deviate the learner from the main topic. Because sometimes we try to explain a lot of things, and what happens, or we put in a lot of flowery languages and all that, and ultimately the main concept gets deviated. So that should not happen. Okay, so it should not contain materials that distract. Sometimes, have you noticed in PowerPoints and all what we do? The PowerPoints are very colorful, lot of pictures and so many things and all we are putting, and the content or the topic is very minimum. So the learner, he will lose his sight from the content. He will be looking the pictures. He will be watching the pictures or the color in the PPT rather than the content and the topic. So that should not happen. So that is what they say. It should not contain materials that distract learners from the main topic. Then yes, it should be built on prior knowledge of the learner. If you're developing a learning material, we have to know the level of learners and OER when you're developing. It should be related to prior knowledge, and it should not be too lengthy. Very lengthy learning materials, we all know it is very boring. If you give 10, 20 pages of a learning material, 30 pages and all, nobody will have the patience to sit and go through it. So it should be compact, to the point. No? That over length should be avoided. And try to bring in interdisciplinary approach. If you can relate other areas also, not only, suppose I'm teaching teacher education, okay, it's about teachers. So rather than restricting to that, how can I connect it to other realms, to the society, to the other papers that I'm teaching? If I can bridge it to the other papers, bring in a few points of secondary education or other national education policy, where I can deviate. All that, I can go to other streams. If I can bring science, a little bit of science into it. All these things, interdisciplinary approach. And then provide links for further readings. Okay, other OER materials you can provide. Okay. Then P, tips in P, presentation, product and format. The license, when you are presenting the OER material after you finish, when you are uploading it, make sure that the license is clear. What type of an OER license you are giving, that should be very clear. Don't put it in microscopic form and all. You put it properly in the first page or the last page or wherever, in the middle or whatever. It should be visible to everyone. Whoever is taking that material, he should be able to, at a look, he should understand, okay, this is OER, this is CCBY, this is an OER, this is CCBY NC. So your licensing should be in a very good manner, in a legible manner, okay? It should be easily accessible, and the presentation should be in a logical way. The concept, we say, the spiral curriculum and all, like starting from simple to complex. And with an effective manner, a little bit of color contrast, not too much, little bit of color contrast which attracts learners, little bit of pictures related to the concept. All those things can be done. And provide space for getting feedback. Check the OER can be printed. It should be in open format. And all these things should be taken care of. And last one is S, system, technical and technological aspect of an OER. The software should be free. It should not be a locked software where others cannot use platform. It should be easy. MS Office, everything, very easy thing, easily downloadable, and such things. Okay, and that is just about quality guidelines. Just you can go through it. It's the tips framework. If you type it in the net, the SEMCA, you will be able to get that book on tips, which tells you much about OER, and if you're developing an OER, how to go about it. So I just mentioned that in brief. And also don't forget to go through Creative Commons website. There they will tell you more in detail about Creative Commons licensing, how you can go about licensing and all those things. So now the next question. Now everybody might be thinking, right? Yes, so many questions have come. Yes, how is the OER useful for students of inclusive education, and all those things are there. Yes, I'll come to all that. Maybe we can just finish this session and then maybe we can come to the question and answer, right? Because we don't have much time, as I said. This is the most important part. Now you all will be thinking, now ma'am is lecturing on OER, on CC and so many things. She's telling you go to net and the material with the CCBY is an OER, but I have never ever come across a material like that. Many people might be thinking, so that I'll tell you that how to search for an OER. Easy methods for searching for an OER. Before that, one more thing I would like to tell you all is, one thing you have to keep in mind is OER is an upcoming concept. It is still not stabilized much in our country. The government, we don't have a OER policy, an official OER policy in our country. Because of that itself, there are a lot of restrictions to OER. We are in the phase of developing that. The process is going on. The policy has to come out, and then it will become more clear, like what our country, what are the yes and or do's and no do's of this OER, which is allowed in our country. So now I'm just talking about OER. I'm just presenting this concept so that we all become aware that there is something called OER, something which is useful to us. So once the policy is brought out, so that we can immediately, okay, we are well versed, we know, we can do accordingly. Okay. And some people will not allow to the concept of sharing also. They are opposed. They will speak that OER, no, how a lot of people will take my concept, steal it. So many things are there. So there is always a divide. So whatever thing you introduce, we know there will be people who support it and there will be people who oppose it. There will be pros and cons. But ultimately, you have to do this little bit of negativities you have to keep away, because it is benefiting us in some way or the other, right? You cannot always be negative or pessimistic. So with an open mind, you have to approach OER. So that is one thing I would like to say. And because of this thing, also there are many limitations when you search. Still, we are in the process of developing OER materials, India. So might be materials available are still lacking. We need again and again. It is actually now up to you and me to develop OER. After we become aware, it is our duty now to develop more materials and put it on the website. Okay. So how to search for an OER? One website which will allow you is OER Commons. Again, Google, our best friend, if you go to Google and if you type OER Commons, it will take you to the website. Now, OER Commons, it is a comprehensive infrastructure for curriculum expert and instructors. It is providing high quality OER. So whatever material is uploaded there, you will get OER material. So I'll just put the screenshot, the next slide, if you can see the slide, the screenshot, the next slide. Yes, this is how it will appear when you are going into the OER Commons website. Okay, the PPT will be available to you also. Don't worry, you can go through this PPT and you can step by step go and find out. Okay, so see the oercommons.org. If you log into that website, you can see there is the front page, there is advanced search. Click on advanced search. It will take you to this page now, which is, you can see the screen now. It will advanced search, and there I have put red arrows. So there, if you click whatever topic you want to, so I had clicked whatever is your area, you type it there, you fill in all that and you give search. Then it will give you materials. If you can see the next slide. All these materials, they are all OER materials. And if you can check, if you click on any one of the material, it will show you CC BY licenses. Okay, you click on that. So this is the screenshot. So I have just showed it. See, so I clicked on that and it has shown CC BY SA. Some might be CC BY. Some might be CC BY NC/ND. So you have to make sure what type of license it is. Accordingly, only you have to use it. Okay, that's why the 6 type of licenses. So this was about OER Commons. Hope you have understood that. Go to OER Commons web page, click on advanced search, then you fill in the details, and then if you give search, it will give you a lot of materials, and those materials, all those materials are high quality OERs, and if you see, the licensing will be given there, so it is safe. Okay. Now your favorite or our favorite YouTube. The most favorite thing, which nowadays, especially in lockdown time, I think YouTube is the maximum being used by all of us to overcome our boredom, right? So how to go about in YouTube for searching it? So there are many videos, right? So how do I know it is an OER video or not? That go to the main homepage of YouTube and you just click on this search, you just type any topic you want. Like I have given blended learning in the screenshot. Whatever is your area, you just give all digital learning or teacher education, or you just type and give search. So this page comes up. The page with a lot of videos, it will obviously come up, right? But you can see I have given a red arrow mark filter. The option filter is there above. If you can see that on the screen, there is an option called filter. You can see the red arrow mark. I have given that red arrow mark there. If you click on filter, see, you get this page. The filter, it expands downwards. You get upload date, type, duration, features, and sort by. You can see a green arrow I have marked under features. Under features, there you can see on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th subheading title is there, Creative Commons. Okay. If you click on that and then you see all the videos which come later on will be Creative Commons. All the videos that come will be, so sometimes it might not also, but majority of the videos will be CC, Creative Commons. So now you will ask, how do I check or how do I know if it is a CC? Just by clicking on CC and searching, how can I? One way of checking is you play the video, no? You go to the particular video. When the video plays, you can see below the video. See, I have put a box there, a red box. I have shown show more. Did you see that? There is a show more option. Okay. You click on that. Next page, you click on that. The next slide you can see, it will show license, Creative Commons, attribution license, reuse allowed. Okay, so we'll just go from the first now. Sir, if you can just start from YouTube, homepage to YouTube. We'll just tell it once more. If anybody is trying, if they want to try, they can try. See, you go to YouTube, you type the topic you want, give search. So you get a page with many videos. On that page, as the red arrow is indicated, you will find filter. Okay, click on that filter. When you click filter, you get a lot of subtitles coming up. Under that, you can see features. I have given the green arrow, features. In features column, the fifth row, Creative Commons. Click on Creative Commons. So if you click on Creative Commons, then the videos which will be appearing next will be Creative Commons licensed videos. Now, how to cross-check that? At times, the videos might not also be Creative Commons. So it is very essential to cross-check and confirm. In some videos, there will be no licensing. So that is also not good. That is not good. So what you have to do is you immediately go to the video, and when the video plays, you scroll down, there will be an option called Show More. I have put the red box there, Show More. You click on that and immediately it takes you and shows you whether the type of license is Creative Commons or not. It is given reuse allowed, right? So in YouTube videos, it will not say BYSA and all, because you cannot modify, adapt, modify. Only thing, you can take the video as it is. That is why Creative Commons license, reuse allowed. Safely, you can take it and you can use it. Nobody is going to sue you legally for that. Okay. So this is on your favorite YouTube. No, our favorite YouTube. Now, then comes the most, just before I was mentioning our best friend, Google. So how to search on Google? Everybody will be waiting for that, right? Because Google is the most easily accessible thing. It's on our fingertips, search, search, search. So how to search on Google? You go to Google homepage, the main thing, the main page. So you can see on the screenshot, see, this is obviously everybody will be familiar with this, right? This page, Google page. Right below on the page, on the right-hand side below, I have put a red arrow there. You can see settings. The screen on the right side, down part, you can see settings. Okay, the arrow. You click on that settings. When you click on settings, you get these options. Advanced search, history, search, helps and feedback and all. So in that advanced search, you have to click on advanced search. So first you go to Google homepage, then you click on settings, which is on the downward side towards right side below. Then you click on advanced search. Okay. So you click on advanced search and this is what appears. Okay. You get this page. And if you can see, there are many options like language, region, last update, site or domain, terms appearing, save search, file type, and now you can see usage rights right below. So you can fill in whatever you want. You can fill in the about things like language, region, and whatever terms appearing. You can fill all those things. Our concern is about usage rights, right? Because we want OER materials. So you click on usage rights. You can see that arrow. If you click that arrow, it will give you this many options on usage rights. Right side, that arrow, if you the down and arrow, if you click, it will give you all these options. See, what are the options? Not filtered by license, free to use or share commercially. So that CC BY, right? Which is commercial. Free to use, share, or modify, CC BY. Free to use, share, or modify even commercially. So see, all these things they have given. Which is your choice? You want a CC BY, that is free to use, share, modify. No other restrictions. You only want to use, share, modify. Then you can click on that. And then when you give search, Google will give you those articles which are licensed under CC BY. If you take that article, I have not put that on screenshot because it is easy. If you go to that article and if you go below, search below that article, you can see it will be licensed as CC BY, or it will be licensed as CC BY NCSA, whatever you want, it will be there. Okay, so once more, I'll just say, you go to the Google homepage, and on the right side below, you can find settings. You click on settings, and then you go to advanced search, and then you get the next page like this. Scroll down, you have usage rights. You click on usage rights, it will give you the different type of licenses, whichever you want. Click on any one of that, give search, and next, all articles that will come. Sometimes in between, copyright articles might also come. So that's why I said, when you click on the article, but most of the articles will be CC. So if you click on that and you go down, you can see the license. So you can confirm that it is a OER. Next is images. Again, images are also subject to copyright, right? We all know that. So how can I get OER images? So I needn't be worried. Google Images, we all search that, right? So see, now we all know how to take an image from Google. That's why I haven't taken the screenshot of the beginning and all. So you type, so here I had typed DNSL. I thought I'll go with biology, though I'm not a biology person. So I gave a DNSL because DNA is what describes us, a fundamental basic unit of humans, right? So that's why I went for DNSL, and I gave enter in Google, and I took the images. Okay, I took the images page. So this is how it appears. This is very familiar. Everybody knows this page. So the images are come. Now, I want to make sure that my images, maximum of the images are OER. So how can I do that? How can I search for OER images? See, on the top side, there is an option tools. I have given a red arrow, settings and tools. In that, you can click on tools. The red arrow is given, sideways arrow I have given there. If everybody can see the screen, okay. You click on that tools. When you click on tools, see, many subheadings will appear like size, color, usage right, type, time. These things will come, okay. Usage rights, you can see I have put a red arrow again on top of that. If you click on usage rights, it will show you what type of a CC license you want, just like you did before in the Google article search. This also usage rights, and you click on any one license and search. All the pictures that will come will be OER. So you can again check on the you can click on the picture and check. It will show the kind of license it is. You will be safe. So how to search for images? You go to Google Images, Tools, click on Tools. It will give you many subheadings like size, color, usage rights. Our concern is with usage rights. So click on usage rights button. If you click on that, in the screenshot, it's not there. If you click on that, you will get many, just like previously I showed, in the free to use, free to adapt, and so many things will come. So you click on that, CC, and then you give search. And then most of the pictures, majority of the pictures will be CC, okay? So you can do that. Now, another one site. So Google, that was about Google. Next one, Open Textbook Library. This is another one website. Here, textbooks are there. You can go and you can access textbooks. This OER textbooks, they are licensed to be freely used, adapted, and distributed. These books have been reviewed by faculty from a variety of colleges and universities to assess their quality. So you needn't, because many people will ask, ma'am, how can we know about the quality? What is the quality? So this website, it is authentic, Open Textbook Library. If you go there, you will get many textbooks which are OER. Okay, so you can use that, and it is good quality because a lot of faculties have gone through it and the quality has been assessed. If you can see the next slide. This is how it will look like, Open Textbook Library. Go there. Again, you just type Open Textbook Library in your Google. Okay, it will give you the website address. You go into that. This is the front page. And here you can see browse subject. I have put an arrow there, a red arrow, browse subject. If you click on browse subject, it shows different kinds of, subjects like business, computer science, economics, education. You click on whichever is your subject, you click on that subject, and accordingly, it will give you a lot of books. So I'm sorry, I have not put the screenshot here, but it is simple. It is easy. That's why I just didn't put the screenshot, or else I would have shown that. If you're trying it, you can go through it. All you have to do is you just go to Open Textbook Library website, and you can click on browse subject, and in that you will get the different subjects are there. Like now you can see, I think you can see, and business, computer science, economics, so many subjects. I'm an education person, so I had clicked education, and there were many books on education, and the license of the book is also given. It is all are OER, and you can go through it. It is adaptable. Okay, they are all adaptable things, so you don't worry about the quality also. This is one website. Okay, now, yes, India's own OER. No, we should be proud. Our country also has an OER. So that is none other than, I don't know how many of you are aware of that. It is the National Repository of Open Educational Resources, NROER. The NROER, it is developed by the CIT, Central Institute of Education and Training, NCRT, Delhi. And it was launched on 13th August 2013 in New Delhi. It is in collaboration with the Department of School Education and Literacy, MHRD government. Now it's Ministry of Education. So this was prepared earlier. So that's why I put it like this: Ministry of Education, Government of India. Okay, NROER. And one thing about NROER is, here you get material, resources in subjects, and in different Indian languages, okay, different Indian languages for primary, secondary, and senior secondary classes. So these materials are for primary, secondary, and senior secondary classes only, school level. And if you can go to the next slide, sir, the next slide, it's showing all contents. Yeah, all contents available on NROER is under Creative Commons license, except the NCRT text. NCRT text will never be CC. Why? NCRT text cannot be made an OER because anyone can go and take it and make change in something. No, so they are standardized textbooks. It's issued to the students, right? So those books will not be OER. It is not OER, but all other materials on this website are OER. So you needn't check each material. If you are taking, see, this is the website. If you are going to NROER, you needn't worry, whether this material is OER, whether that material is OER. No, the website itself has told us that all materials except NCRT textbooks, all materials that we have downloaded on this website is an OER, and it is under CC BY-SA, share alike. So you remember what is share alike? If you are using share alike material, your material should also be licensed under CC BY-SA. So that is what they are telling, CC BY-SA. Now see the screenshot. See, this is how it is, NROER. And I have put a yellow arrow on the topmost part. If you can see NROER, see the yellow arrow, repository. There is a heading called repository on the topmost part. Okay, the arrow indicates, I put a yellow arrow towards it. So you click on that repository. Next page, it will come like this. If you can see the next page, see, this is how it appears when you click on repository. Themes, e-library, e-books, e-courses, events, and partner showcase and all. So we needn't bother about all that. We can only, we are concerned about learning materials. So it is about e-library and e-books. Now, if you go there, you get school materials, I'm talking about the primary, secondary and senior secondary resources are there. All are OER. Okay. So this is about India's own OER, NROER, National Repository of Open, for school education. Then comes another one, authentic and very genuine website, oasis.col.org. Now, OASIS is the Commonwealth of Learning online institutional repository for learning resources and publications. Okay. Again, here also you needn't worry. Whenever you take a material that, oh, should I check if it is an OER? Should I check like Google and all? I said no, YouTube and all. Once you get it, again, you have to cross check whether it is an OER or not. But here you needn't worry. Why? Here also they have told all the materials found in this website are CC BY SA. So you needn't worry. All materials will be CC BY SA, and they have written it can be freely downloaded for reuse and adaptation. Now, I think those of you are for the uninitiated, I would like to say Commonwealth of Learning, COL, is an intergovernmental organization developed by Commonwealth Heads of Government in 1987. And their main aim is to promote development and sharing of open learning and distance education, knowledge, resource, and technology. So that's why they are working on this. Okay. So try this website. See, this is how it will come: oasis.org and col.org. See, so many, you can see browse all of OASIS, communities, collections. So I just clicked on communities in OASIS. There's you can research and publications, country report, corporate, so many materials are there. And again, I clicked on reports, research and publications I have clicked. So it took me to this page, articles in periodicals and books. Okay. So you can, when you get time, you go through this, and there are many materials available in this website. You needn't worry. They are all under CC BY SA. Remember, it is SA. Okay. So keep that in mind. SA means you have to license it, your material also. If you're taking from this, you have to license your material also under CC BY SA. That is the only thing. All are CC BY SA, even NROER. Okay. So keep that in mind. And this is how you can access. Go to Commonwealth of Learning, col.org, OASIS, and so many things. Browse, you can have time. And then I think this next one is Pixabay. I think all of you are, most of you might be using it already, where you get, free images and videos and all that, copyright free. Pixabay in itself is a license. Pixabay license. That means it is an OER. It is allowing for free use. It is a vibrant community of creatives sharing copyright-free images and videos. So next, like if you find a photo which is under Pixabay license, then you can say it is an OER. It is similar to the CC license. Okay, Pixabay license. So you can go to this web page. You can try. Again, this those of who are in the science and engineering field, they must be very well versed with NPTEL. They might be knowing the National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, which is an initiative by 7 Indian institutes of technology, right? Like Bombay, Delhi, Guwahati, Madras, Roorkee. They have all come together. They have formed this NPTEL. This NPTEL, they have made it into an OER. All the materials that are available here on NPTEL are OER materials. It is licensed under CC BY SA. So mainly this is for engineering. That's what they have written, for creating course contents in engineering and science. All those who are into those streams, engineering and science streams, can definitely log on to NPTEL, and there you get, definitely it's IIT, so you know the quality of materials. You don't have to worry about anything. You get good quality materials. And whenever I used to take class in OER, there were already a huge number of people who were accessing and using NPTEL in engineering and science. So if anybody has not tried that, kindly go and try, because you need worry, all materials are in this CC BY SA. You don't have to check every material. It is already CC BY SA. Again, Khan Academy, whenever I talk with teachers and all, many of them are using this Khan Academy. So there are OER materials, it offers practice exercises, instructional videos, personalized learning dashboard that helps learners to study at their own pace in and outside, and mathematics, science, computer programming, history, economics, and more. All these things. Okay. I think better than me, teachers might be knowing about Khan Academy and all, those who are using it. Again, another one OER website, Merlot, the Multimedia Educational Resources for Learning and Online Teaching, which is a project of the California State University. And Merlot collection consists of tens and thousands of discipline-specific learning materials, learning exercises with associated comments and bookmark collection. So 25 different disciplines are there in Merlot website, and peer-reviewed online teaching learning materials are also there. So you can browse that also in a while. Okay, so actually there are n number. Now this slide, this is, I have taken this slide from our dear Thiago sir. He is the one who has collected all these sites and put it up. So this picture courtesy or this acknowledgement, I have to acknowledge, otherwise I will be doing copyrights, violation of copyrights when I'm speaking of OER. So this is Thiago sirs, and he has brought it. So he has come out with all these OER websites which are available. Please, you can, it is there in the PPT. You can go through it. There is plenty of time now, right? We are all sitting at home, and there is a lot of time to go through the internet to these. You can browse this one by one and find out whether there are any useful materials for your purpose. See, OER Common and PTEL we have discussed. Apart from that, Sakshat, then Teacher Portal, and Homi Bhabha Center for Science and Education, NIOS, Lecture Fox, MIT, Berkeley University, Yale University, Princeton University, Johns Hopkins University, Rice University, Carnegie Mellon University, and see the next slide also. So all this Thiago sir has compiled. So a big thanks to sir for doing this for us, right? And you all can also go through it. He has licensed it under OER. He has given it under OER license. That's why I have taken it. Okay, so don't worry. You can also use these slides. And see, this is OER in India. If you want to specifically, if you feel that, okay, the foreign level and all, it's very high level, it's going to be difficult, we can start with whatever is available in our own country. No, so see, the N, which I already told, NROER, then NPTEL, again, Karnataka. If NMKRV College of Education students, teachers, they might be knowing better than all of us, Karnataka OER. Anybody using it? Karnataka OER. So there are many lessons on that. And Pratham is also releasing books under CC license. So that is also again our Indian. And then the National Mission on Education through ICT, OER. So initiatives here, they release most content under the CC attribution license. So this is about OER in India. So to begin with, I would suggest that maybe we can start with our country's OER, because that would be suitable to our context, our locale, whatever, right? It suits our teaching and learning conditions and our learning environment. Even the language will be suitable to us if we go with OER in our country. And after we are well versed with all that and we feel we can move on, then maybe we can go for browsing the foreign websites. First itself, if suddenly you go and get all the foreign websites, we might get confused also. There are n number of materials. So we might get confused. We might not be able to comprehend it properly and all. So basically, I think maybe we can start with our countries and our OER. We can get used to using OER and then shift, or simple things like that. Okay. So this was about OER and how to search about on good materials on OER. So as I said, like we need to be modifying and innovating our approaches, to meet the growing demands of our society. We are now on the online mode and so many things growing fast. So knowledge definitely has to be shared, and knowledge cannot be confined, or you should not keep it within yourself. Knowledge is all about sharing. That's why I initially also told that the concept of sharing. So that mindset we have to develop, that, okay, if I'm developing something, let me put it open in such a way that it is of use to someone else, so that he can read from it, he can benefit from it, and maybe he can come out with something much more better than me. If I provide a base, and he can come out with something, so that jealousy, that collegiate, that everything we can do away with all that. You provide it to your friends, or you put it on the platform where other people come, they make use of it, they come out with something more better and contribute to the pool of knowledge that we are having. So this is only way by which we can develop, by which our country can develop, right? So that is how the concept of OER, can be used. And as I said, so it's high time, we bring this awareness, what is an OER, among student teachers or teachers and students, so that we can make use of it. Like I said, this was coined in 2002. OER. The term was coined long back. But even now, I don't know, we are still very much kind of apprehensive. OER, we are not used to it. Some of us have not even heard it. So with this, I would like to stop on my lecture on OER. And yes, we have questions coming up, right? I'll just, we have a few minutes. I'll just take, it's already 12:30. So I'll just take a few questions, which I feel I can, and then we can answer. And at any time, this PPT will be given to you. And if you want, my email ID also will be shared, or you can approach me and personally, and we can, I can clear, your doubts if you want to. Okay. Or else everything is there on Google. You can access it on Google. So I'll just see. Yes, Creative Commons license. Manoj has asked about the Creative Commons license for OER. Manoj, sir, I think I have already answered that. Creative Commons license, as I said, the CC, I had already explained it in the previous slides, the 6 different types of licenses for OER. If you go into the Creative Commons website, you will get that, the Creative Commons. Okay, so that is detailed, in detail explained in the slide also. So that I feel is there. Yes, and there's someone asked me about the inclusive education, right? Yes. How is OER useful? Yeah, OER is useful for students of inclusive education, just like the other materials. And as I said, more than that, you can sit where you are and access it, right? An open educational resource for any inclusive education. There are a lot of materials available in the field of inclusive education on OER materials. At the same time, the people who are doing, you can sit at your home, and as I said, there is no cost you have to pay. It is free. It is free of cost, and there is no locking and all. Okay, though no lock about, so you can access it freely. So in that way, it is useful for students of inclusive education. You will. I'm not getting the question clearly. Like, do you mean the special education students or the people who are studying that? I'm not getting that. Students of inclusive education, definitely you will get materials. If you go through these websites and if you browse, you will get inclusive education materials, a lot of materials. So it is useful in that way. Okay. And yeah, so for video and audio contents, that Sri, you have to first make sure what kind of a licensing the video and audio contents they have given. Most of the time, the video and audio contents, they won't, it is not, they won't allow to edit in between that, because a video is a video, it plays, right? You can take that video and audio and put it in your presentation and use it without copyright issue. Okay, without any violation of copyright. The entire video can be taken and you can show it to your in your presentation. You don't have that. That is how video and audio can be used, rather than article wise. Like articles, I said, no, you can go in and adapt and cut it off and use it. So this audio and video is a little bit changing. You can take it and put it in your presentation as a whole, or you can take it and put it in your project as a whole. Got it? That is better for audio and video. Or else specifically they will mention, some people will say this audio, you can be used in this way, it can be used in that way. So according to that license, you can move. But usually what we do is we take the video as a whole. We won't want like to interrupt into that video and break it and add, right? That video we will play, then our part we will play. That is better. Now, which license is safe one? Josephine, Anita. OER learning outcomes. Yes, OER before that. Rohina's OER learning outcomes, definitely it is beneficial for students. And what we have to do is don't solely depend on OER. Okay, we should not completely. It is a supplement. Your reading materials are there, which the daily ones. Apart from that, we can also add OER. So in that way, the learning outcomes, definitely it is beneficial for the students. And one more thing, I got Josephine, she had put a question, it's deleted. I'm not getting it. Okay, so Sam, you have asked about the factors for a quality material. The factors we have discussed, tips. Okay, I had put it up in tips framework. You go through that, they are the factors to be considered for the quality of material. Okay. Yes, what are the other sources other than Creative Commons through which we can receive or collect materials for use? Creative Commons is the license. It is the license part of an OER. Receiving and collecting OER is through the websites which I have shown now. Aravind sir, if you can get it, the websites which I have shown now, right? Accessing part, that I have shown how you can receive and collect materials. Creative Commons is not that. It is the license given to an OER. Okay. Then, there is no cost for OER. It is the cost, Rohinas, there is no cost for an OER. They are free of cost. And if at all, certain OER, I have not come across any OER with a cost. If at all they are putting a small cost, what we do is the university or our college or our institution pays for that. But 99.9% of OER should be free of cost. That is the very purpose of an OER. Okay. Okay. Then so many questions are there. I am yeah, PPT will be sent to you all. And can we find license and its possible features? Yeah, license everything in mobile search. You go to CC, Creative Commons website, you see that in mobile, you search, you will get that, okay? Yes, OER is easily accessible by students and teachers. Definitely it is easily accessible. That is why we are talking about it now. That is a very concept of OER, easily accessible. It is easily accessible. If you go through these websites which I have given, all OER materials are there. It is easily accessible. And yes, related to teacher training courses also, it is available. What you have to do now, whenever you enter the website, they will ask you discipline. So you search according, if you are a teacher education person, you type teacher education, you type. All the materials will come according to that. If you want physics, type physics accordingly. Go to advanced search and do that, okay? So mail ID, definitely I will ask Premlata ma'am to share it with you. And you can publish in OER, you can go, for more details on publishing and licensing, you go to CC, Creative Commons website. There they have told you how you can develop and publish this OER, okay? Creative Commons website. You please go to that and you can get that. So I hope I have. Yeah, science subject, Fauzia, that's what I said, no? The NPTEL and all, it's for science and engineering alone, OER, NPTEL. So, am I taking much of the time?
No, madam, no, madam.
Okay, so teachers have to follow syllabus or develop own teaching materials. Please explain limitations on usage of OER on preparing teaching materials. For what levels OER is more advantageous? See, level wise, I don't think there is any specific, which we cannot say for this level it is more better or that level it is more better. The school level, collegiate level, university level, at all level it is beneficial. Because see, OER is not something which is different. It is the same learning materials that we are getting online or which is being developed in the textbook. The only thing is it is allowing us to share freely without copyright. That is only difference. Okay. Otherwise, the content and everything is the same. Just like you find in books, the material or online things, everything is same. The only plus point with OER is it is giving me freedom to share it freely, to take full advantage, to add my points to it, to delete some points if I feel it is not apt. That is the thing of OER. It is not different from any normal teaching learning material. So for every level, you prepare an OER according to school level, it is advantageous. You prepare according to college level, it is advantageous to college. So level wise, it depends on how you are preparing. Just like you prepare a learning material, a lesson plan, you prepare a lesson plan, put it CC BY, it has become an OER. So the difference is only in the licensing. The content and nothing is changing. The difference is only in the licensing part. Okay. Limitations, as I said now, the limitations of OER is that when you are publishing science articles, I will tell you, you're doing some experimentations in the lab and publishing an article, then you make sure that you don't give CC BY. Why? If you give CC BY, somebody else can come in and change it, your findings and readings, they can alter it. Sometimes it might become wrong also. So if you are publishing scientific articles which have authentic, genuine data and all, then you go with CC BY, NC, ND. ND, no derivatives, no change, so that no one can change, but they can use it. That is the most safest thing. So these are the limitations of OER, because when you give CC/BY, like you must be knowing Wikipedia, anyone can enter and modify it, right? So sometimes wrong information will also be entered. So that is one limitation of OER, on the usage of OER. So when you are using OER, if you go with CC/BY ND, no derivatives, you will be on the safer side. But that is for mainly for research or scientific things which you feel cannot be. Otherwise, for general papers and all, if you give CC/BY, let others alter it, it's not much of a big deal. We can allow for that. So that is, this limitation is there. And yes, you have also asked whether we have to follow syllabus or can we develop our own. See, if you are developing a learning material, OER material for 10th standard, definitely you have to go with the syllabus of 10th. But if you are publishing an article of your own choice, it depends on you. So depending on the purpose, you can develop the OER. If you are a teacher, you want to develop a curriculum, definitely you have to follow the syllabus. And according to that, you have to develop an OER. Okay. Okay. Plagiarism issue is not there in OER, because OER in itself is telling us that you can go for sharing. Okay. So, but you have to acknowledge it. After taking the material, the reference part, you just acknowledge CC, BY and all that. Okay. And you have to license it. So hope I have answered a little bit of your queries, and we are running out of time. So yeah, guidance and counseling materials, ma'am, everything is available. All type of materials, disciplines. Only you, when you go to search, you advanced search, click on advanced search and you type your discipline. Accordingly, it will give you materials. Okay. It is useful for everyone. It is just nothing but a learning material. Only thing it is free of copyright. That is the only difference. Otherwise, content, everything is the same. Okay. So I think no more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So I feel.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So just two more. I just want to thank all the participants who have patiently listened to the session. Thank you so much, dear participants, because it is, and I'm very happy that I got this opportunity, because we are all in lockdown. We are not meeting anyone for a long time, but at least on the virtual mode, we are getting a chance to meet so many people, to interact, to discuss. So this is helping us a lot. So again, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and the Karnataka NMKRV College of Education, Women's College, I'm thankful to you all. And Tyagu sir, he is the one who has pushed me into this. So I thank all of you all for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Dr. Femina to give a formal vote of thanks.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Femina, madam.
I'm adored. Yes, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
good
Yes,
afternoon. Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah. Good afternoon, one and all. Engage and create their imagination. It is a privilege and a great joy for me to extend on behalf of the Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and MKRV College for Women to all of you in this 1 week online capacity building program. At the outset, I thank our resource person, Dr. Mary Vanita Thomas, Assistant Professor, Central University of Kerala, for delivering a wonderful talk on open educational resources. Dr. Vanita, your quote, knowledge is about sharing. So this is a very impressive highlight which you have given on your talk. Why it is? Because it is very relevant of today's education system, which we most of the time touch the affective domain. We concentrate most of the cognitive and psychomotor domain, and which like that like most of our students do complain that the teachers are not that affectionate, isn't it? So I really acknowledge you on that note, madam. It was really informative and enriching deliberation.
I think our participants
Thank you,
are
ma'am.
going
Thank
to
you.
make use of this various open educational resources, licensing, which they got a very detailed knowledge to experience their students and effective learning. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. N. Panchnatham, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Dr. M.K. Panduranga Shetty, President, RSST, and our co-partner, co-patrons, Professor Balakrishnan, Registrar, AVS Murthy, Secretary, RSST, Colonels, Professor M. Govinde, Snehala Raj Nadikar, our organizing secretaries, very active in this 1 week program, Dr. T. Shivashakti Rajamal Madam, Dr. Sushilambal MN, and all other organizing secretaries and members, those who are directly and indirectly connected with this program. And I also would like to extend my special thanks to all the non-teaching staff of Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University for unflinching support and coordination in this program. Our heartfelt thanks to all participants, very lively participants, for their active participation in this 1 week program. With this words, we move on to the end of today's. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Dr. Vinita, once again.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
Dr. Kamalam. Thank you, Dr. Mary
Okay.
Vinita, ma'am. Thank
Yes,
you so
yes.
much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the
Thank you, ma'am.
opportunity.
Thank
Okay,
you,
bye
ma'am.
bye.
Thank you.
See you sometime
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Snegalata, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Susila, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Diyal sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Premalata, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Rajakumar sir. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Josephine, ma'am. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.
And today, tomorrow we have a 30 sessions on 11 a.m. The resource persons from Mr. Sushant Kumar Nayak, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Rajiv Gandhi University, Arunachal Pradesh. So